And I think we're
Boom
live.
shakalaka.
Let's see. Let's see. Has the connection thingy worked? And are the
It's always a waiting game now. It's like we get up, we are live. Yay! Hello,
Boom!
everyone.
What's
How are you doing
up?
today? Happy Loki Day.
Happy Loki Day
Uh,
indeed. And welcome back to the
Wednesdays are Loki days.
regular live channel. Pumped to have
Dude,
this
how
channel back.
exciting.
I know.
Honestly, can we
I'm
get
excited.
a round of applause for getting the channel back? What a
Yes.
fucking stupid experience. What
What
an
a yeah.
absolutely butthole of an experience. Like,
Yeah.
so dumb.
It was really dumb.
Fuck
And I
Warner
do want to
Brothers.
say to all the peeps watching too that I apologize about not streaming more today. But we are going to continue the extravaganza into tomorrow. So I know some people missed out because they wanted to do more of the getting extra nerd coin and the double nerd coin and all that. So we'll extend a lot of that stuff into tomorrow. I have it still doubled and there's a lot of fun extra nerd coin stuff on this stream. So, you get the extra nerd coin on here as well. And then you'll get some
Spend
fun
it
stuff tomorrow.
wisely.
Yes, spend it wisely. No, I want to do a bunch of drops tomorrow. I had this big plan to
Yeah.
do like all these drops today for the Nerdcoin store, including
Ooh.
this
Ooh, show us.
sweet. Oh
Show
yeah,
us. Show us.
boom,
Show us.
boom. Star Wars Monopoly for the Mandalorian is one of them.
Oh my god. Do I have nerd coin?
You probably do. This right
Because
here.
I wanna
know, right?
fight someone for that.
I know,
My
right?
brother-in-law
Zombie
would
Doctor
be
Doom. Yeah, and I got a
the
couple more
dorksies.
stuff behind me as well. So fun stuff. We'll do a bunch of drops tomorrow, and we'll do the Nerdcoin stuff tomorrow, and have that going on throughout the day. So,
Want that
yes.
Star Wars Monopoly. Hey guys, I'm gonna fight you for it.
Yo, she's
Okay,
gonna
I
fight
probably
you
won't
for
do
it. Loki. Yo, Loki. Crazy, huh? Episode 4.
Dude.
Where are you at with Loki episode 4? Talk to me.
It was kind of an emotional roller coaster. What an emotional episode in general. I was very, very surprised. This show just continues to surprise and delight me.
Yeah.
Truly and honestly, I think it's a really, really fantastic piece of work. And they were able to fit a lot, but also at the same time, like really focus on the stories that they've already started in such a short and good amount of time that I really do feel like the show is telling like multiple movies worth of stories in just like a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
And it's been so much fun, but damn, I was very surprised and taken aback by a lot of the emotional, what do I even want to say, drops of this show. Like a lot of people died.
I know, it was weird.
Got taken out.
I've said it a couple times, but like it bears repeating that like it was so effective that when Loki died, even though in my brain parts there was part of me that's like, no, you've seen the other footage with the president badge,
Yeah.
he comes back. I couldn't like connect to that, and I was shocked. I was like, dude, they just killed Loki.
I was so shocked.
I thought he was done faux show, so that was crazy. And then, obviously we're going to be talking spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't seen the episode of Loki, get out of here.
Spoilers.
But,
I mean, you should know by now. We're not going to talk about it for an hour and like dance around
I know, right? Like
what actually happened. This is always
heart.
spoiler talk.
Bless
your heart, but
that.
it's always spoilers talk. Yeah, dude, I was telling you, I didn't even realize that there was an end credit scene at first because they didn't always do end credit scene. And, because of the time slot, I have to watch it like before or during work, basically.
Yeah.
Like I have to kind of like watch it in the interim or like take a break. And so I just like watched it and then had to go back and do a bunch of like meetings and work stuff. And I really thought Loki was dead. And I was just sitting there thinking about it, like so sad. I was just like, oh my God, like, so are they going to get another Loki from another timeline? Like, is she the main character now? Like, I guess he was kind of like a variant Loki. Like, he's not the main Loki, but still, it's so sad. So I actually fully believed it for like a minute.
Bizarre. It was
quite tough.
It was bananas to me. I was like, dude, no, it's over. We're just going to be getting Sylvie now. And I was like, oh, that's a cool way to, I guess, make Sylvie the main character and have her, be missing him or whatever. But no, I mean, alas, that end credit scene with them all being on that planet, that's dimension, whatever. What do you think's going on there? Like, what's your theory on where Crocodile Dun Loki comes from and all that?
Dude, I was just like, I had to pause that and be like, what am I looking?
Yeah.
Like what? Who is this ragtag group of characters right now? Because obviously, like Kid Loki and Classic Loki, you can kind of pull out. But what did they call him? Boastful Loki,
Yes,
and then
boastful.
like Crocodile Loki. I mean, if there's like a Crocodile Loki Throg face off, I mean, come on, guys,
That would be amazeballs.
come on,
Like
guys,
I just
that'd be yep, yuck,
I
and
want
it would
that
just be
croc
so.
Loki to say something. Just open up your stupid croc mouth and say something, please. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think it was Rob from Comics Explained. He made this joke in one of some Loki video. Where it's like he was talking about Throg, and he's talking about how it's not one of those things where people like Throg shows up and everyone's like, "Oh shit, everybody look out, Throg is here. It's gonna be freaking epic." It's like, no, it's just entertaining.
Yeah,
It's
it's goofy,
amazing
it's
and it's
silly.
fun and it's awesome. And every time you see it, it's just like goofy, silly things are fun and they're a delight to see. So I was super excited to see that.
Yeah.
Although I mean, okay, where they are first. What do I think they are? I think they are similar to, well, I guess she wasn't out at the time. She just like picked a time that was kind of about to be
Yeah, she was like
destroyed.
dancing around the timeline.
Dancing around the time.
Yeah.
But I do feel like they're outside of time. If they're getting like zapped, you know, and sent to a place, it does kind of feel like some weird purgatory in between, or I don't know if they've somehow like tampered with I don't even know what those little buzz sticks are called, but
Yeah.
like to instead of disintegrating people, it just teleports them. But it does seem like they're somewhere outside of time in purgatory or an in between kind of sense.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm of a couple of different minds. Like it could be one of the theory I like the most was somebody said this earlier that it could actually be Battle World or where like
Ooh,
where the first multiversal war happened or something like that. Like
right.
I love this idea of it being like a part of like the universe that's essentially made up of like the trash of broken multiverses or like destroyed places or something like that
Yeah.
because it feels very similar to Sakaar or Scar where
Mhm.
you know the Grand Master also it kind of served as like a dumping ground essentially for
Yeah.
you know for the freaking I guess realities or whatnot. So something like that would be really cool. I also think it's possible that it's just some place that the Loki variants are getting sent to, and there could be this weirder unraveling of what's going on. Like maybe Mobius had this thing set up where when the Lokis got disintegrated, they all showed up here, and this was integral
Yeah.
because of this or something to that effect. I don't know. I still think there's the possibility of some really weird explanation. There's also this
Mhm.
explanation of that I love where people are saying, what if death is somehow tampered with? Where like in the universe, nobody that's dying is
Mm.
actually dying. They're being sent to different places, which is maybe why in the Spider-Man 3 rumors, a lot of the villains are going to pop up in our reality right after their death. And a very important part of the story, from what I've been told, is that they're going to remember how they died. And most of them died because of Peter Parker. So they're going to hold it against him and possibly even guilt trip our
Right.
Peter Parker into giving them another chance or a way to go home or something like
Now,
that. So
how
it's
did
like, I like that. You know what I mean?
That's a super interesting theory, but it's also very daunting because if they open up that can of worms, they're opening up that can of worms.
Yeah.
Like that is just, I feel like that's a tricky one because I do feel like that kind of goes into wonky territory. Like, you know, in like the comic books when they're always like bringing people back to life for no reason. And then you're just like, they're like, oh, well, they're back now because they found this other body. Like, or remember when Jean Grey was like brought back to life because her like body was just in like a tomb in the ocean. You're just like, bro. And
Yeah.
it's just like those things where they're just like, oh, she was there the whole time. And it's just like, I feel like, especially with the MCU, because they are playing different rules than they are in the comic book world. Like the comic book realm will accept a lot more than the general normie audience. And I do feel like saying no one's ever really dead
Dude,
is
bananas.
just opening up in a whole other bag of cats that will be really I like it. I like it for the catalyst of what it would do for the Spider-Man storyline, but I feel like for the greater ramifications of the universe as a whole, I feel it's kind of dicey. I feel like it's walking a thin line there.
Yeah, for sure. It would be tough, right? It would be super tough for them to be able to establish that Yeah, death and consequences really, really matter. But if death is broken and you fully commit to that, like you can have a lot of fun with that as well, right? And like do
Yeah.
some bizarre stuff. Like I'm reminded of The Edge of Tomorrow with that movie with Tom Cruise, right? Remember when he's like dying over and over again? So you can
Yes.
play with it in some really fun, kind of interesting ways. Or even Inception when they have to kill themselves to wake up
Yeah.
from the other level, and there's like a tension built into that where you kind of play with it. So it could
That's
be
fair.
fun, It could be fun.
Actually, that's fair. That's actually a good point, though, because like we're talking about breaking death in a temporary settlement. Or
Eh,
Herb count one.
Burp count one.
Uh, that's a good point because that's playing with death in like a temporary sense, and I think that could be a lot of fun, and that is a good idea. Or
Yeah.
just like
It'd be
these
tough
spirit.
though. It'd be tough to commit to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough to commit to, and it has to like make sense because it has to be within like very specific parameters because the soul stone or because of this specific time, whatever that everyone who's dying in this pocket of time in this pocket of the universe isn't really dying, but that once it's reset all those people will die, like one of those things that makes it a little more logical, a little easier to digest. If they do that, I feel like that will make sense and that'll be a lot of fun. But they are playing with different because like the universe is so expansive and it's been going on for so long now, like the fun thing about something like Edge of Tomorrow, right, is like it's a condensed sci-fi story
Sure.
within itself, right?
Yeah.
It's like this is the alien we're dealing with. The alien is like a time alien. If you kill it, then blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So like, oh god, that movie's so awesome.
That movie's
That
great.
movie's awesome.
I know.
If anyone hasn't seen Edge of Tomorrow, you hate yourself because it's a truly delightful.
You hate
time.
yourself
Everyone
and you
should
suck
watch
at life. No, yeah, something
it.
like
You
that.
don't like having a good time.
You definitely
But
don't. I
I
would.
think that's a good point though.
Yeah,
Spur,
I don't
spur
know if
the
that's
list.
really what they're gonna do though. I mean, that would be such
Yeah,
commitment, right? Like to be going that crazy on something. Um,
right.
I don't know. That would be pretty nuts. It looks like a post-apocalyptic something, and then you see the Avengers Tower, and the fact that
Hmm.
it's these different variants of Loki. And remember, Mobius says something earlier on in the show where he's like, they're probably seen more variants of Loki than any other variant. You know what I mean? He's just like, there's a ton of Loki. So
Yeah.
could there be something specific to Loki's? I guess the natural extension of this is, do you think Mobius is still alive? Did he get also sent somewhere with, the rod thingy?
Yeah, I don't know. That one it's tough because I feel like my inclination is that it's somewhere outside of time because they keep catching everybody. So again, it's like if there's three Lokis together, I would imagine they're in some place that's hard to track by some stretch of the means. How it's hard to track, I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
we'll figure that out. But yeah, I mean, I definitely the minute he came back, I was like, okay, then Mobius is like
Yeah.
that would make me super happy because while I thought he had a pretty good death, and I felt like it was one of those things that really like hammered in the emotional weight and kind of the pacing of the show where it's like, boom, people die and we're going. And you're just like, fuck, like, goddamn, Loki, like this show is just it always hurts when someone dies, but it is a very, very effective plot. So
Yeah, for sure.
I think it would serve the show well to have him not come back to life, but I also that's the first thing I thought of when he came back to life. I was like, so Mobius ain't dead, right? Please, please bring him
Dude,
back to
right?
life.
Exactly. Like you imagine him, and there's some really funny memes of it with like all the different Owen Wilson performances. Like him like looking, and instead of like Crocodile Loki, it's like the friggin' Loki from or Owen Wilson from Superbad or whatever. Or
Oh
not.
my god.
Yeah, it's like super fun stuff like that. I would like it. I'd like for him to still be alive, or maybe be back on his jet ski or something. You know what I mean? Like have him
Yeah.
perhaps have turned back to that, and then there's
That
this
definitely
whole.
didn't happen.
Un-
100%.
well, yeah,
He gets
probably not.
zapped and then just gets a happy ending.
Well, think about this though. She asked him like if you could be anywhere, any timeline, like where would you
Oh,
go?
that's
Right?
fair.
So
That
I'm
is
wondering,
fair.
yeah, I'm wondering if there was something that she did like that. Because there's
Hmm.
still, I guess the other big thing, and we talked about this, is that with the timekeepers being pretty much revealed to be puppets and just androids or whatever, the question becomes like who's pulling the strings there, and if Ravonna is connected to it because she's obviously Renslayer, which has that comic book connection. They've downplayed
Yeah.
this a little bit in articles and different things, but it's still there. I don't think they would just do it. They would just do that and like leave us hanging on another boner. So I think Kang is likely on the table. I don't know to what degree he'll be revealed or shown in the show, but I think he's probably the one pulling the strings. So then it's what is going on with Ravonna and time, because I can't imagine Kang actually controlling all of time for real, for real. He's probably just controlling one portion of time to try to make
Yeah.
sure that like he exists or whatever. So maybe even the pruning devices and this whole concept of control and everything is just fake, and he can't destroy timelines. All you can do is smush them together or send them into, you know what I mean? Like something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that I agree 100%. We were talking about this a little bit before. Like it in my there's like with the little android heads, I had a feeling it was gonna be some like Wizard of Oz kind of shit. But like the moment you saw those android heads, I'm like, there's just no doubt in my mind that Kang is coming next, because it's like, why name her that?
Yeah.
Like if they named her that and Kang didn't show up, it's just like, dude, like I don't know. That would be another boner situation for sure. If like Kang didn't show up and then like they just named, like they just had Red Slayer, like that would be really, really weird to me. I think I would definitely feel bonered again.
Yeah,
so
I
in
feel
my
so.
mind, Kang is 100% without a doubt the one behind this. But I do agree with you that it's probably it's a farce, like
Yeah.
they're pretending that they're saving time, sacred timeline whatsoever, but all he's really doing is time traveling and making sure that things are set up that benefit him personally. And
Yeah.
there must be some reason why Loki is like the common denominator in his plans and machinations, like getting screwed up every single time he tries to do something. And it makes sense because he's the god of mischief. He is chaos incarnate, like he is literally what am I thinking? He is a outlier.
Yes.
Always. So it makes sense why he would kind of be the chaotic factor in Kang's machinations for whatever he was trying to do. So yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we've always said that we felt like the TVA was nefarious in some way, and
Yeah.
I don't think it's really saving time.
You know what else I thought would be pretty bananas, and I think this is just way too crazy. Like, I don't think they would necessarily go this way, but I'm fascinated with the idea of Secret Wars and the Beyonders, and like these entities that are just like they're so advanced that they have the ability to do stuff similar to what the TVA is doing, and similar to like the ability to just control the multiverse all at once, that we would call technology. And there's a rumor that even the Eternals will be proven to be essentially advanced robots, right? That were created by, in my mind, what I would consider like they're robots, but they're so advanced because they're created by the Beyonders, these things that are so like crazy. And that's what the Celestials all like. It's all an extension of essentially a big experiment, a big terrarium, which is the multiverse, to these hyper powerful beings. And it would be like bananas if the timekeepers and the whole TVA was just one part of that. Like if they essentially found out, like, I guess instead of Kang, it would be like White Disco Suit Beyonder or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like somebody like that that's pulling the strings, that essentially it all represents this outside control. Like, oh shit, time is controlled all at once by this crazy externality, you know what I mean? And then you find that like the multiverse is also being watched over by this externality. And something like even the Darkhold prophecy with Scarlet Witch, we would view it as magic. It might actually just be technology of a different ilk, right? Like of a different kind of explanation. That would be way too bananas, but I would love it. Like if it's even beyond Kang, right? Like, what if Kang and Immortus
Mhm.
is introduced, but not necessarily as the person controlling the TVA, but as someone that's trying to overthrow the thing that does control the TVA, which leads to like a Thanos level kind of overarching kind of villainous thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, what I would love is that if it was revealed that it was Kang, and then later on it was revealed that it wasn't. That would make me very happy because then
Yeah,
because I mean I really am. I feel for Marvel, like subverting expectations at this point is going to be really, really difficult.
true.
Like with everything that everyone knows and everything that they've built so far, and trying not to be redundant, trying to break new grounds and keep people excited and engaged in something that they've been away at like over a decade. It's a tough pill swallow. So if like
Yeah.
they could, I would be like, anyway, we wouldn't know until it happened, but I think it would be pretty if there was something bigger than Kang. They setting up to be this huge, big,
Yeah.
totally unconceivably large and insurmountable force, and then a couple movies later, you're just like, no, bitch.
Yeah.
There's something else behind it. So I think
Well, that's
that's what I.
similar to possibly what's going on with WandaVision, where the
Yeah,
rumor now is that Shuma Gorath may have been controlling Wanda even during that show, which is somewhat alluded to just because of the dark hold and some of the,
yeah,
the glyphs and the weird connections to her and just her abilities in general. But it's not really established. Like, you do think Agatha is essentially the one just pulling all the strings and manipulating her, et cetera, right? So that's pretty bizarre. If it ends up being Shuma, then it's like, oh shit, it wasn't actually Agatha. And they could do a similar thing with Kang, right? Where they establish Kang, and then later on, you're like, oh, it's way bigger than Kang. Kang himself was being a puppet to this other force or whatnot. You know what I mean? Something like that would be super cool. Um, yeah,
well, it's all like it's the age old issue, right? It's like, how do they keep making a villain and a fight exciting when the most exciting fights for comic book characters are like the end of the world, or the world as you know it, or whatever, everything that going to shit. It's like they have to find new and creative ways to make the stakes feel that high or be that high perceptively, but
mm,
at the core of it all, not really be. And I think that's kind of the entire crux of, both the Marvel and the DC universe. They're always like world ending events.
yeah, it just happens over and over again. I mean, that's the thing. You have to just find a way to put a new twist on an old lemon. You know what I mean? Like, I love comics, but yeah, you often get a lot of the same ideas cycle. I mean, we're getting old man Star Lord now. You know what I mean? You had old
Yeah.
man Logan. You've had old man Cap. Like, you've had, let's make this character old and see them in a different light. You have the classic
Yeah.
turn them bad. What happened if we turn Tony Stark bad? How many times has Tony Stark, turned bad in Marvel Comics, So you have that thing that's just over and over again, but the good stories find a way to make it fun and juicy again, right? Like, I think Heroes Reborn is an incredible series that is
Yeah.
essentially retelling uh a story that you've seen in DC and Marvel and all sorts of. It's like, boom, what if the Justice League never existed, or what if the Avengers never
Yeah.
existed, and we're in this alternate timeline, nobody remembers the Justice League except a few people, and they have to figure it out. Like, I've heard that story before, but the way it's told and the lensing and the fun that they have with the characters is really, I think, what makes the difference. Loki is just a fun show. Like, it is just having
Yeah.
fun in Marvel. Like, it feels like, again, this Rick and Morty squad, it feels like they get their hands on Marvel and they're just loving it. They are
Well,
having
I think
so much fun with this. It's a blast to watch.
kind of based on what you're saying, though, it's like finding a way to do it creatively. And this kind of ties into some of the news that came out today, like in regards to the Flash movie, right? Like that is a creative use of a big, bad world ending situation,
True.
because that was like a world ending situation.
Hmm.
But also like yes and no, right? Like it's like every time they're like fighting over speed on the Speed Force and like
Yeah.
fucking with it and all that shit, it's always has like really large implications, but that's not really like the meat and potatoes of what makes that story so
Right.
compelling, right? It's like putting these characters in this high stakes situation of like playing with the themes of what has already been created in a world-ending situation that we've seen and heard, and then putting it in with like new glasses. But then you're like, okay, Batman, but Thomas Wayne,
Yes,
like
yes.
Justice League, but just or even what's her fuck Harley Quinn?
Harley's in it.
No, she's
I think she's in the comic. I don't know if she's in the movie. But no, you're talking about
what's her name in the
Wonder Woman
beginning?
is different.
No, that chick he kills in the beginning. Can't remember her name.
Who, Thomas Wayne?
Yeah, Batman's dad.
I think that he's fighting the
Kill some chick in
Joker,
the
but
beginning.
the Joker is his wife. The Joker is Bruce's mom.
Oh,
But I don't know if that's who he's fighting in the beginning of the flick. It's been a while since I've seen
yeah.
that movie. But no, that was crazy. Like the leaks and just how pumped people I think are going to get about the Flash movie. That movie seems cool, man. Like I know there's a big divided DC fan base, and I know Warner Brothers sucks. Trust me, I know. But Flash seems cool, and Andy Muschietti. It's not Anthony Muschietti. Who keeps calling him Anthony? Everybody, it's me. Andy Muschietti is. I think he deserves a cuddle or a trophy or some kind of badge because honestly, for him to just take this ball and run is super
Yeah.
impressive. A lot of people walked away from this project. It did so many. It's been through production hell, and
Yeah.
kudos to the whole team for like going there and making it happen and having a lot of fun with it. I think the Supergirl aspect is going to be awesome. It's going to be super fun to see her, maybe being in the government program thing, much like the Project Superman was in Flashpoint.
Oh, she's gonna be skinny Superman?
I think so. From what you see in the photographs, it makes it seem like they break her out of prison and she's being kept like that. So, yeah. Yep. Pretty
Which I guess is
interesting.
totally feasible because
Yeah. Well, if she,
I mean
especially if she like
he's
if
in it for
they
like 2 seconds. So I'm just
well,
like,
for sure. Well, if they go with the Snyder cut Man of Steel, it depends on how they want to do it. There's all sorts of ways they can
yeah.
get to Supergirl, but there was a one of the pods was opened on the ship that technically arrived before Clark.
Mm.
So even though Kara is younger than Superman, she arrives on Earth before him, and so is like older in that sense, at least in that sort of Man of Steel thing. That's what we're led to believe. So
Yeah.
maybe she gets grabbed up immediately by the government and they just like have
Yeah.
her forever or whatever. Or it's Soup's daughter way in the future that they do the same
Yes.
thing to and they just throw her in a cell or whatever. But that's cool. I'm into that.
I'm actually really excited for the Flashpoint movie. I'm not gonna lie. And as someone who's kind of like a DC normie in that regard, like I don't really know much about DC other than like Batman, a little bit of Superman. Flash, I will say, I always say I'm like, I always want to like someone else in the Justice League. It's always what I'm searching for when I'm like reading DC comics and like watching the animated. I just want to like someone else other than Batman and Superman.
Right.
But somehow, some way at the end of every story, all I care about is Superman. And the Flash is actually one of the only ones that'll ever pick my interest. And interestingly enough, I watched the DC animated Flash movie when I was on this like DC animated movie binge like last year, and I think it's like
It's dope.
top 2 or 3.
Oh,
Like
it's
I
dope.
really, really, really enjoy Flashpoint.
Dude,
animated
Grifter's
movie. Like,
awesome in that too. I love Grifter, and he was awesome in that. There's that shot where Deathstroke gets shot through the head, I think, by Batman at the end,
Dude.
and you see like through the shot of his head. Like, dude, that movie's brutal. Like, it's awesome.
Exactly. No, that movie was super brutal and super dark, and it is kind of a dark, gross movie. And Thomas Wayne is fucked up. You thought Batman was crazy. God damn, just meet his daddy. So his daddy issues come from.
Yeah, he's going hard. And I love the plane too, where they just have the casino plane, and the whole idea of him running the casino is so badass. I hope we get to see some of that in Flash. Thomas Wayne was such a cool aspect in it. Instead, they're
Yeah.
sort of seemingly replacing that with Michael Keaton, which is fun, but
Yeah.
not quite the same as like there was rumor we could get Jeffrey Dean Morgan being Thomas Wayne Batman, and dude, that would be dope. Yeah, that would have been sick.
Now I'm sad.
Yeah.
Now I'm sad for something that never happened.
Right. Hold it against them. Damn you, Warner Brothers. Damn
know, like,
you.
The Michael Keaton thing is cool and all, but like I gotta say, like that's like my favorite moment. Like I was like legit like crying at the end when he like opens that letter. Mom's
Yo,
daddy.
it's
Take
super
his
sad.
mask off, and he's like crying. He's like, "Thank you." I was literally like blubbering. I cried. I cried when he was talking to his mom. I was like, it was just an emotional movie, and I think it was just such a, you know, sometimes when I'm with like the DC Justice League kind of stuff, I feel like the Flash can just be they treat him too throwaway sometimes,
True.
where it's just like, oh, say the funny line, Flash, okay, we're gonna move right on, then they ignoring him.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, and I feel like honestly that happens with a lot of Justice League characters, which is like part of the problem why I always end up liking Batman and Superman. They're like, all right, Wonder Woman, make a weird comment about war.
Yeah.
Flash, say something funny, and then they just like move on. And he has a lot. I actually liked the CW show with the Flash.
Dude, the Flash show is great. Now it
I thought it
goes a
was a
little
great
off the
show.
rails. Like I don't remember. I don't think I even watched like season 3 or 4, and I hear it gets really wild. But
I
the
don't think I watched
structure
the
as
last.
like a periodical with Barry doing his thing was brilliant. Like I really liked the first couple seasons. I thought it was really really
Me
good.
too.
He's rumored to be in that movie as well, by the way. Grant Gustin. Wouldn't
Oh,
that be
that would
bananas?
be really, really, that would be really cool. Because I mean, he does interact with old. Oh my God, wait, that would actually be awesome. Because like, aren't those moments when he's like interacting with his old self to be like, "Don't do it, man." Like, what if that was like another?
That would be ridiculous, but super fun.
Yeah,
That'd be super fun. I'd be into it. I think
yeah,
it's time to get that kind of fun happening. Like he said something, Ezra said
yeah,
something in the video where he says this is going to be the most hype beast uh, DCEU movie of all time, and I think he's right. Like I think he's just straight up
yeah,
right about that. Like they haven't gone for it in a long time. Like they keep like, and I love Batman. To your point, you know what I mean? Like we
yeah.
all love Batman, but like how many times are we going to see those pearls, get the Martha's pearls fly up into the air and like both of the parents get gunned down. Like if I have to
Somebody
watch,
cue Enya,
I'm
slow
about to
motion
be
pearl scene.
more
Let's go.
traumatized by that shit than Bruce Wayne was. He had to go through it once. I've had to live that shit like 17 times thanks to Warner Brothers over the past 2 decades. So it's like I just
Dude,
we need to move on. We
when
need to
your
move on.
storyline becomes a meme, that's when you know you've gone too far.
Yeah.
Like, like Uncle Ben dying and like Bruce Wayne's parents dying. When it's a meme, it's too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do something else. And you're right. Like, they really haven't gone for it, I would say, since Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
It's Batman movies.
I mean, but that's so weird to think about because now like what Nolan did is standard, right? Like so he like did something incredible and kind of did what like Danny O'Neill did for the actual comic book Batman, like kind of going into the Silver Age, where he's like, no, you can make this really realistic and like really
Yeah.
like because Nolan's just so good and
Yeah.
it's visceral, you know what I mean? And this was a Bruce that like you can understand and get behind and feel for and follow, and it broke through to normies like you wouldn't believe. But now that's like every Marvel movie, right? So like every Marvel
Yeah.
movie functionally does that, and now it's like that. I feel like that's not good enough. Now I think you need to go bananas, and you need to have like ridiculous.
Back to
Like
weird.
the Flash movie is doing exactly what DC should have done years ago. I mean, Crisis
Right.
is more. I would argue that like Crisis in the multiverse is more a part of the DC world and their identity than it ever was with Marvel. Like Marvel, sure they do a lot of that stuff too, and I would say nowadays it's more commonplace. But ultimately, like Marvel would do like Secret Wars or Contest of Champions or something like that, where it's like
Yeah.
we're gonna take things to this other place. DC always cut its teeth from the time of Crisis from another version of Superman, another multiversal version where you have the freaking crime syndicate and crazy stuff like that. I just always thought they should have leaned into that a lot sooner, and so it's dope to see them
Well,
finally doing it.
Well, it's tough though, right? Because it's like part of the thing that makes the Flashpoint movie so incredible, right? Is because you're playing like you kind of need that world established to play around in
That's
it,
true.
right? Like you
Yeah.
can't just be playing with loose sand. There has to be a sandbox that's already established. And what makes that so powerful is kind of like playing with the character dynamics of what if and then what, and put these here. And without that greater universe built out, it does feel like it would have been a little preemptive to
That's
do
true.
something like
Yeah.
Flashpoint earlier. So they really did need to build out their universe first. And unfortunately, they just like really shat the bed when it came to like building their universe. And so like those big cool ideas just didn't really get that chance to but you know what, I'm glad they're doing it now, because honestly, like, whatever, like if they just had to make those movies to get those peoples and actors into the zeitgeist of like what is DC, and it allows for something like Flashpoint to happen, and
Yeah.
that like ushers in a new era, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Like, fine,
At this point, it's
whatever.
like, yeah, because
Yeah.
you're right. Like they had like sort of this stagnation and like this procrastination because they did just essentially keep doing the one-off things. I mean, literally, think about it. Marvel was doing Phase 1 films while Nolan's making his movies,
Right.
right? So those movies
2008,
go over a 10-year period. Yeah, so I think
same year.
it was the same year, but it was then you don't get Dark Knight for 3 years. You don't get Rises for 4 years. So you're talking about 7 additional years where Marvel's doing their thing and doing their run up, and Nolan is just making his trilogy with just Batman off on its own, right? So Marvel gets to this place, and then DC after that is like, okay, let's do Man of Steel. Let's maybe do what Marvel's doing, but they don't really fully commit to it either, right? And then they try to just super speed, like fast forward to it with BVS, and it like doesn't play, it doesn't work at all. It doesn't feel earned. It's like really hack jobbed up, I think, in the editing and etc. And they just never got that opportunity. Like, you think about it, what if while that whole tenure was going on and we're watching this like massive 10-year arc for Robert Downey Jr., getting all sorts of flavor with this character, so many different appearances, so many different, changes, from Ultron, from First Avengers into Ultron, and then his, all of that. We continue to get new Batman. We continue to get new Justice League stories. Like, we're doing weird stuff. You don't give the characters time to progress to a place where they can do this kind of bananas crazy stuff. Like, if we had Batfleck for that full 5 arc film or even longer or something, like, I feel like then maybe you have the ability to do whatever you want with more substantive feeling for the characters, but also kind of like what you were saying, then you can break the multiverse more meaningfully because you have this set established thing, which is why I think Marvel's about to fucking kill it, because they played in one sandbox essentially for about 10 years, and they heavily established this thing. Now they can do branch versions of it, and it'll feel familiar and nostalgic while also being fresh. It's brilliant. So I don't know, we'll see how DC's thing can stack up against it, but ultimately they had to jump. They had to take that leap. What I mean?
Well, unfortunately, like, I'm thinking now, I do feel like Batman actually came out earlier than, like,
it probably came out first. Yeah. Well,
yeah, I think Iron Man came out
08
somewhere in the middle.
I think it was 08 for Iron Man.
Let's see, Batman Begins. What year did that come out? Oh, 2005. Yeah, so it was a little bit earlier.
Came before, sure.
But like the minute Marvel started doing Iron Man, what was the next one that came out? Captain America. Man of Steel should have came out in like 2010, dude. Like or when did Man of Steel come? Or 2008, 2009. Like, they should have started that in the middle of Chris Nolan's movies, which, I mean, I don't know how the budget worked. I'm sure that dude was getting money. I'm sure Batman was like eating up the whole budget, and that was the right move too. Like, giving Christopher Nolan all the freedom to take as long as he needed and all the money he needed to make the movie was the right move, because they were
incredible
masterpieces that we remembered forever. But in terms of like trying to compete with Marvel, the minute they started doing that Avengers shit, they should have dropped Man of Steel like a million years
for
earlier.
Sure.
Like, and just like really started going for, and I at least done something else other than going straight into like Batman vs Superman, dude. Like, it was, but
John White, then, I see you in chat. Send me something on Discord, man. We can get that fixed up for you. It should be working, but I know the stream bot has been weird. throughout the day. So I do apologize about that. We're going to be running this again tomorrow. So it should
Yeah.
be working. Let me just see here. Let me check the settings. Let me
Sorry,
double
dude.
check.
Sorry, John. Technical difficulties. That's frustrating. I
So it
know.
should,
Uh,
yeah. No, those are the settings. The settings are that way. So, again, if it didn't work for you, man, send me a message on Discord and like screenshot your thing, and I'll figure it out. I can adjust it manually myself. So, just let me know. You ready to get into some super chats? Want to do some
yeah,
Q&A? Let's do it.
of
Let's
course.
do it.
But
My
you know
brain
what,
is on
though?
mushroom.
On a happy note, I do think Flashpoint is going to be good.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just think it's going to be good. I maybe it's because even before Batman vs Superman came out, if it felt like the wrong move. Like when they were like immediately going into that, like something in me was like, it's too soon. Like it's not
Yeah.
the move to just bring Ben Affleck in right now and just start him out in this. Like it's not it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It kind of feels like the right time and they have the right team and they're in the right place to really they've made all the mistakes. Is there any more mistakes they could make in that realm? And I do think I have an inkling, just like I had an inkling about Loki. I think Flashpoint's gonna be good. And I also think the Suicide Squad movie is gonna be a little better. I don't know.
Yeah, I
How do you
think
feel?
Suicide Squad could live off of some dopeness for sure. Like it seems like they're really going for it for that film as well. John White, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. And Alex
Yeah,
Willis,
welcome.
welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. All right, let me get. Yeah, I think.
Curious in the chat, guys. What do you guys think? Do you
Yeah.
think Suicide Squad or do you think Flashpoint and Suicide Squad are going to be good? Those are my predictions. If they're not good, then egg on my face. But I have a feeling.
No, I
do have
think
a
those
feeling
two are
they're
going to
gonna
be pretty good. I'm excited about the Suicide Squad. Some people think it's going to be too goofy and too marvelly, which I think is kind of interesting. I expect it to be a super fun time. Like I'm pumped to see
Yeah,
that, and it'll be like, who's going to live? You know what I mean? That kind of a thing is always
yeah.
fun. So. All right, let's see here. So John White says for the $5 holla, I had to join on this welcome back day. It is my glorious purpose.
Yay!
Take my money. Thank you so much, John. Appreciate the love, my
Thank you for
friend.
joining. What a way to coronate our return to the live channel.
I know, man. Whew. It's like it's been
What a rough
fun, but
patch.
also I've been super exhausted from Loki. I tried to like
Yeah.
sleep in the afternoon and couldn't, and I was like, damn, it's gonna throw me off. But no,
I
thank you so much, John.
know. This time slot's killing me, bro. Like,
It's
fuck. I really hope that they I
Next
don't know
week's
what I'm
gonna
gonna
be
do.
bananas for me. So next week is gonna
Why?
be because it's gonna be Loki, a big episode. Then we're gonna do a Black Widow watch party probably the next night for Disney Plus. Yeah, it's crazy. And then
I have tickets, but I don't know who I'm gonna go with.
it's gonna be bananas, dude. Like it's just gonna be a crazy week. Potentially Spider-Man 3 trailer as well. So like just a lot of content to be working on.
That sad moment when you buy tickets to a movie, but you don't have
Right? Well, I am gonna go to theaters and see it. I want to see it in theaters, but I think I'm gonna do the first watch at home with the Nerd
Yeah.
Vengers and just kind of watch it.
about
behind
that
the scenes, so.
IMAX, bro. I love it. I
I
missed
want to
it
see
so
it.
much.
Yeah, no, I
I'm like
definitely want to, but I think
jonesing.
that it'll just flip for me where I'll do the first showing, I'll do digitally and do hang with them, and then I'll go check
Mhm.
it out in theaters like the next day with
Yeah.
like a notepad or something. But let's
With
see
a
here.
notepad.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
taking
actually not
notes.
a bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
Taking notes.
I was looking and trying to find online like when is it coming out on Disney Plus? I can't
I
find
don't know.
info.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually. I was talking about that with somebody else today where we're like, we don't even know. Like, and it could come
Yeah.
out technically before that in theaters, which is bananas. And
Yeah.
in that case, I'd have to switch my plans and go see it in theaters or whatever. But yeah, we'll
I'm
figure it out.
so excited. I'll go by myself. I'll give off. Yeah, I'm
Go
so excited to go
go
back
by
to
yourself
theaters.
twice or something. Can't you just be like, I have 2 tickets and I want to go to both.
That's what I did with Into the Spider-Verse.
There you go. I actually saw Into the Spider-Verse by myself as well. And it was a great crowd.
Well, I
Downtown
saw it
Philly.
before but I liked it so much I had to go see it again. I'm like, well, this is just ridiculous at this point. So I'm just gonna
It was good.
myself.
It was good. Let's see here. Russell says with a $5 holla says maybe they're in New York City in a timeline where Loki succeeded in Avengers, caused the apocalypse, and now the TVA use it as jail for variant Lokis. That's kind of interesting. What do you think of that?
yes to the first part, probably no to the second part. Because if
Mm,
it's jail, I don't think those motherfuckers would just be running around.
true. True.
I
Yeah,
feel like,
they're on an escape thing, and he said
yeah,
literally like you'll be dead soon if you don't come with us. That's pretty interesting. What's that about?
yeah. But I could see that being like if Loki actually did succeed, and it's just like another trash planet where thing or trash timeline where things went to shit.
Mm,
Uh, yeah.
fair.
So
Fair. Matthew K says Loki's not the only one with a massive crush on Sylvie. I'm absolutely loving her character. Yeah, so first of all, we didn't really touch on that, but they went
I
for
know
it, yo. They
we
went
got
for
like
the Loki.
distracted
We
by
did.
Flashpoint talk. We kind of like stopped midway in the Loki talk. I was like, that really tickled me. Like truly, truly, really tickled me. The how they really just called it out and like went for it in regards to the Loki romance. I really thought they were gonna do that Disney thing where they're like alluding to it, like like batting their eyelashes at it from afar. But no, Owen Wilson, he just went into it. He's like, you fucking narcissist.
Yeah,
Like
man.
you classic, like you really fell in love with yourself. Grow up.
He
Like
went
you're
for it.
so like, oh my, and I was just like literally like I was like, oh my God, like he is really laying it. And that was a weird moment too, because I was just like, that was a really, I think, playful scene. Not in that they were being playful, but in the way that this show is really playing with their dynamic a lot. And
Yeah.
I really love it. It was like a scorned woman, you know, because he
Yeah.
was like mad. Like, I thought we were friends, bro.
Yeah.
And you really like left me high and dry. So he's like being a dick to him. He was like, well, you just like left me. So what are you like falling in love with yourself? God, like is
I know,
a
right?
classic. Jeez. And
That's
it's
fair,
like,
yeah. No, it
it
was
was
interesting. I felt like it was bold for the show to just do it, but also it feels Loki. You know what I mean? I think that's the thing. And there was this funny thing that like I think Michael Waldron said, where it's like as we're writing it, we're like, what's this feeling we're getting? Like, oh, this is a little weird, but also feels right for Loki. And it's cool for them to kind of follow that instinct. A lot of writers would kind of frankly puss out on something like that.
yeah.
So it's cool that
What
they
is this
did that.
weird feeling you're getting? What is in regards to what?
To the Loki on Loki action. Like when he was describing, yeah, he was
Oh,
like describing putting them together in a scene, and he was like, "What is this feeling we're getting?" You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, man, like go for it. It's a
such a good
little weird,
instinct
but
though. Michael Waldron simp. Like it's
yeah,
just that is such a good instinct, and it was the right instinct because it's like you do. I was listening. I like to like watch a lot of interviews and read stuff about people who make things that I like. And for that, I think it was the director of that promising young woman. Like, and also I'm like just a Bo Burnham simp, so I was like watching interviews of him, and
yeah,
they're talking about like you want to make stuff that people are going to argue about and discuss after they watch it, you
hmm,
know? And like that's one of those things I feel like which is a really strong instinct which has been happening a lot in this show where it's just like you don't want people to come away all feeling exactly the same. You want friends to end the show, couples to end the show
yeah,
and have completely different conclusions and be like, "What?" And then like look at each other and like not either one of them be right or wrong, but we'll have, start that discussion like, "No, that's super weird." And have someone else be like, "No, but I get it though." And so,
hmm,
but it's like that's exactly what you want in good storytelling. And so
yeah, for
I
sure.
love his instincts and I'm so excited he's like now going to be like a stay in the MCU because
Yeah,
I just think
it's the way, man. It reminds me a lot of like that getting the Russo brothers and then Feige
mm,
just having that instinct to be like, "Oh no, these are the dudes that are going to take us the whole way home. Like they're going to bring it home for us." And like what a cool instinct. I mean, that's one of the things with Feige is like he has really great instinct on how
mm,
like who's going to be the people that can bring together this vision cuz his main
yeah,
crew of lieutenants or whatever, like they've just been on straight fire the last 5 or 6 years, and it's pretty
exactly.
fantastic. So, yeah. Dude,
But
here
yeah,
Vito says I
what
just
did you?
oh, yeah, what's up? No, go ahead.
I am like, how do you like? Speaking of friends arguing about, how do you feel about the Loki on Loki
How
romance?
do I personally
Like
feel like
we talked about it when it first was alluded to, but now that it's like for sure confirmed, how does it make
yeah.
you feel?
Well, okay. So, frankly, at first it was a little bit off-putting where I was like, dude, this is weird. Like I don't know if they're actually going this way. Like how do I feel about this? And then there's
Yeah.
also a part of it that feels a little bit more like it's coming from Loki's side, like our sort of more broken Loki. And like that's interesting because it shows
Ooh.
that like he's a little different now. And like we keep getting him, like a lot of his humanity is coming through. And so I couldn't quite tell if she was reciprocating at first, right? But then what I felt was very interesting was the idea that when they were together and they had that weird love or whatever it was, that the variant timeline that was created was like so crazy that it was like they had never seen a branch timeline like it. I really like that. So it
Yeah.
seems like it's not just something fun that they wanted
Yeah.
to do winky winky face. It was also
Yeah.
something that they considered the ramifications of and like
Yeah.
sort of properly allocated story beats around it. So I'm like, it's so well thought out that I'm at the very least just really intrigued and I want to see where it goes from here. And again, I don't know if she's reciprocating. That's my big thing is like, I don't know. It feels pretty one-sided at this point.
That is fair. I can't say that it's yeah, I'm not really getting it from her as much as I'm getting it from him. But I do agree on that point. Like I feel like I think that would have made it wouldn't have made it as good of an instinct if it was just like a shock value thing
Yeah.
where it was just like, oh, like look at this, like isn't this fucking weird and gross? Like it was actually still connected to the greater story and the plot as a whole. And like even in regards to just like character, right? Like Morbius going into him and being like, you broken man, like you
Hmm.
really are the ultimate sad narcissist. Like you
Yeah.
are so desperate you fell in love with yourself, like you're pathetic. And
Yeah.
you're just like, God damn, like fucking cut to the core.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you're also being like, what would be the worst version of a Loki variant? Oh, two Loki variants falling in love with each other. Like
Yeah.
that's just it was great. It really, really was great. So yeah,
It's
I
pretty
have a
yeah.
similar feeling to it, where
It's
it
pretty
is
weird.
at the same thing to that Michael Waldron thing, where what is this feeling? Because it
Yeah.
feels weird, feels
Yeah.
real weird. I don't
It
know
does.
how I feel about it,
It's
but
weird enough to be like an intriguing little aspect of the show, and I'm quite surprised that they went for it the way that they did. Like they use it
yeah,
as a way to impact the death of Loki and that whole
yeah,
situation. You're just like whoa, like that's really really crazy.
right,
I wonder how she'll react now. I think that'll be telling. Is I saw somebody in chat say it doesn't seem or she seems genuine in her reaction to him getting, deleted. So that's fair. And depending on how she reacts from here, we can see how she felt about him or whatever. So pretty interesting.
I think she also
Um,
just like wants a friend. He about to get friend zone.
yeah, throughout all time. That's well. Speaking of that, didn't Ravana friend zone uh, Owen Wilson throughout all time? I'm pretty sure she did.
Yeah,
Like in that conversation, there was this weird part where she was like, "And we're such good friends for
dude,
always."
that's like we were talking about this a little before. I felt like in regards to just being like, oh, Kang is coming. Like I just felt like there was something really weird and
Yeah.
something super off about their whole conversation and dynamic. And maybe it was because it felt it was orchestrated to me as the viewer. It felt in a way that where there was closeness, but there was also a veil of like secrecy and disingenuity and like separation that made things a little weird.
Hmm.
Like I did truly believe that she cared for him and had a special place in her heart for him, but at the same time was playing him or was being held back in some way. And I told you it kind of feels like she's like Persephone, like she's just like
Yeah.
Hades' kept wife, like trapped wife who's like, in married to the devil, but at the same time still has love for humanity. And so it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I
It's
do think
possible.
she has like a connection with Morbius, but I also think at the end of the day, she's Kang's woman. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
we're
gonna
we're
keep
gonna find out. Yeah, there's that could absolutely be the mother flipping case. Yo, did you see anything
yeah.
about the Matrix 4 leaks at all? Vito sent a 5 in
No.
about the video. Yeah, we won't talk about it here, Vito, just because it is technically
Warner
spoilers.
Brothers be
Yeah, and Warner Bros.
sneaking.
Will snipe me
I won't
in the
even
sniper
say a
face.
thing. Should we say a disclaimer? Warner Brothers, we are so sorry. We are not saying a single thing. If you come for us,
Look,
you are now
Warner
just a
Brothers, this is what I
bully.
gotta say. Fuck you, restore the Snyderverse. James
Everyone in
Matumbo.
the chat, fuck Warner Brothers.
I know,
Just throw it
right?
out.
Just do it. F what FWB. I don't know what this. I think it's Rubies. 100 Rubies says new Venom 2 trailer just got rated. Probably going to release with Black Widow. I did hear that actually, and that would be dope. How crazy would it be? Venom 2 trailer and Spider-Man 3. Some people are saying you're not going to see Spider-Man 3 for several weeks, so maybe just Venom 2, but either way that'd be dope. I'd be into it.
If they do this, but that's genius. Like I think, like I heard you talking about it earlier in your other stream. We were talking about how it's like, something they used to do where you would go see like a certain movie to
Yeah.
see a trailer, or
Yeah.
they would use McDonald's marketing campaigns. Like that would be genius. Like they genuinely need to get people in these theaters right now.
True.
So make them go.
True.
Force them. Put the Spider-Man trailer in
Just
Black
in
Widow,
theaters.
and you can only see it in theaters.
Yeah, it would be nuts, and that would create sort of a cool buzz about the trailer as well. Because I remember when it was like San Diego Comic-Con 2018, I believe, where you saw the first look at the Infinity War trailer, but it did not leak. Nobody had it online.
Yeah.
All you had was descriptions. People lost their minds that saw it. But you don't get that trailer for like 6 to 8 months later. But it created this like super crazy hype around it. The same thing could happen if they just played it in the theaters. You know what I mean?
I think Spider-Man is a strong enough franchise that they could get away with a theaters only trailer and releasing the actual trailer for it months from now and still getting millions of views.
Yeah.
Millions and millions of views. Like Spider-Man is that big. Like,
Oh, for
and
sure.
if they're going to take a risk with any franchise, it should be I mean, if they put like Shang-Chi or Eternals trailer only in theaters, I don't give a fuck. Like, they're just gonna be like, oh, whatever. But Spider-Man, like, this is their moment. They should do it. Like,
sure.
100% they should do it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
'Cause I want people to go to the movies.
I want people to go to the movies as well.
I work for Marvel. I'm trying to get everyone to go to the movies. Everyone go to the movies.
Everybody's
It's
going
gonna
to the
be great.
movies.
Have a good
We're
time.
getting them shill checks. Come on now. Trev says Batman and Punisher are the same story, but the father surviving in one scenario and the child surviving the other. Bad Dad is Punisher's story. Yeah, that's fair. Like, so he's talking about how like Thomas Wayne's story is essentially like Punisher-esque, and yeah, it's very similar with the families getting ripped away, but in different events. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah.
And look they were both screwed up.
They're both pretty mentally bonkers. Yeah.
No matter what happens, someone ends up mentally ill.
But one of them kills and one of them doesn't, you know? Very interesting how that happened.
They all never find love. Okay.
True. Vito says for the $5 hollow says, hey, Darren, who's your favorite X-Men again? I've seemed to have forgotten. Also, F Warner Brothers, but glad to have the channel back. Amen. We're glad to be here. Sorry I'm so brain dead tonight, folks. I'm like real tired, but we're doing it.
I know.
That shirt is sick,
I feel
yo.
kind of slow too. I'm like, is she on here? I can't remember. I don't know.
I don't know, but that artwork is dope.
Yeah, in this
Love it.
My favorite X-Men is, do you know, Josh? Can you guess?
Is it Psylocke?
No. Why? Just because she's also a half Asian lady?
Yes.
Racist. Canceled. Canceled.
Yes. No, is it Emma
It's
Frost?
Storm.
Oh, yeah, we have talked about this. Yeah. You know,
It is Stormy Storm because
one.
she's just that bitch, and I love Mohawk Storm storyline. She is like the steady hand underneath it all throughout the beginning of like the Chris Claremont run going forward. But the one I relate to the most is Kitty Pryde. So Storm is my favorite. Kitty Pryde is the one I relate to most, and Rogue was my favorite when I was an angsty teen.
There you go. That's a very thorough answer. So there you go, Vito. Let's see here. Minteractive Media. That's kind of
Hey, who are your favorite X-Men?
favorite X-Men? Let's see here. I'd probably have to say, I don't know. I like, honestly, the X-Force characters a little bit more, if I'm being honest. So, like, Cable is really high on the list for me. Technically is an X-Man eventually. I like Shatterstar. I think Shatterstar's dope.
Came from an X-Men? Is that good?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. For me, like, the X-Force dudes were cooler. But, yeah, I mean, as far as the X-Men goes, I don't know, man. I like Jonathan Hickman's current run and like some of the stuff he's doing over there, and like Trial of Magneto seems like really crazy. Kitty's really cool in like the new Marauders book, and like they set her up as like the Red Queen now, which is really interesting. I've always liked Emma a lot. Emma Frost is really cool. Gambit.
I like Emma a
I got a
lot.
soft spot for Gambit, dude. Like I've read some weird comics with Wolverine and Gambit just running sort of weird night missions together. I forget what
Being
even run it
weirdos.
was. Yeah, it was super
Being
cool. So I like that kind of stuff.
dirty,
I'd say.
grimy little dudes.
Yeah, for sure, man. Those dudes would probably have a
I,
really good bender. You know what I mean?
you know what? I fuck with Emma Frost hard, and not just because she always has her tits out.
Yeah,
It's because that is one crafty lady
super
who
crafty.
just is wily and brilliant and unrelenting and so just irresistible. You know,
Irresistible.
who could date Scott after Jean? They had the most
And
toxic,
taunt him
unhealthy.
about
Like
it the whole time.
she turns into like that was one of my favorite moments. She turns into Jean Grey. She's like, "Is this what you want?" And you're
Yeah.
like, "You psycho." I
Yeah,
love it.
she's
Love to see
wild.
it.
She's wild. Yeah. So
I know.
I like those characters a lot. Green Arrow, Minter Active says Green Arrow is one of the best DC heroes around. Nolan's Batman was an inspiration for the Arrow series. Sonic over Flash, love your work, Josh and Darren. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
Like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, Sonic over Flash, interesting. I don't know if I could agree. Sonic's cool, but I really do like the Flash, so I don't know about that.
You know, I don't even know a frame of reference to make an argument for Sonic. So.
Right? There you go. Green Bear says, "Welcome back. Did you see the Sopranos prequel trailer?" No, I didn't see that. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Yeah,
but
I
I did
saw
start
people were
watching
talking
The
about
Sopranos
it.
in quarantine.
Oh, you did? I've
Mhm.
never actually watched The Sopranos. Heard it's real good though.
I didn't finish it because it was kind of harrowing, and I was watching it when I was very depressed,
Oh,
so I kind of had to
no.
take a break.
Dude, one of the craziest experiences I had during the pandy was rewatching Joker in the middle of the pandy when things were real shaky, and like that shit hit different. I was like,
Dude.
yo, I was like, whoa, because they even talk about like the virus and how it's like getting worse out there, and like politicians and stuff. It was like eerie how similar things were to the real world, and I'm like, this is weird.
I feel that 100%. I had the same experience when I watched Logan, because Logan
Yep.
came out the year, I think the year Trump was elected.
Yep.
And so it was just like that year when the media was just telling you that everything was falling apart. You know, like both CNN and Fox News are like, everything is going to shit. No matter what happens, the world is on fire.
Yeah.
And then Logan comes out and Xavier's like, my dream didn't work, and everybody dies. And I was just like,
what a weird.
and I couldn't handle it. Like, I have not rewatched it because I was so depressed. Like, and as just like an X-Men lover to my core, to like see Xavier as this broken man saying his dream didn't work and that I was like, if the entire like,
not only that, he kills them. He destroys the X-Men. Like, he has a seizure. Like, how dark is that shit? Where it's like, what if during a mission in his old age, Xavier had a seizure and accidentally kills a ton of people on the X-Men? Like, that's bananas.
That scene with him in the bed, like crying about it, it like fucked me up. Like it was just really hard.
By Logan. That's what's really crazy. Is like he's having this confession, and then he sees Logan, and then Logan's like the last face he sees, and then when Logan comes back and he's like, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me." He's trying to like let Charles know as he's dying, I didn't kill you. You know what I mean? Just so he has some semblance of peace. Yeah. Bananas. What a good movie. I love it.
Like, it was such a good movie, but it was just really at the time that the world was in and where I was at, it was also, you know, I was depressed that year too. Depressed a lot, but I'm doing better now, guys. But like yeah, dude, when you're in a weird place and when the world's in a weird place, some movies are just not it. And you know, it's Wonder Woman came out that same year, and I was like, and I loved that movie because I was like, this is what I want to watch right now. I want to watch Wonder Woman going through no man's land, like saving everybody. I don't want to watch.
For sure. There was something really endearing about that film being almost classically heroic in some ways. Yeah.
It's like it was like watching like I can't even think of a good rom-com, but like you know, like something that is just as corny and cheesy as you expect it to be, but like good.
Yeah.
And it's just like sometimes just like the good, corny, normie shit is exactly what I wanted.
It's a vibe, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
fucking love Wonder Woman. I love that
I
first
love
movie.
that. The second one wasn't so much though. Green
Yeah.
Bear says,
That was
"Welcome back."
sucked
Oh
ass.
no, we actually just went over that. Kendall Davis says, "YouTube wildin'. My membership page says I'm amethyst, but I'm still diamond in the chat. Don't want to cry about it, but I'm crying about it. Glad to be
You
back,
should
dude.
cry about
Yeah,
it.
glad to have you back. Hopefully that gets figured out, man. YouTube, like, why do you got to do that?
Don't you guys have like $1 billion?
They have
Like,
like
figure
all
it
the
out.
billions. I'm pretty
Why
sure
don't you
they
have
have
all
all
the
of them.
money?
Yeah,
You guys don't
like,
pay anyone anything. Like, you
yeah,
don't pay a
geez.
single creator a
You
dime.
pay
Like,
us
can't you take that
freaking
money?
pennies and take all of our monies for no freaking reasons here. Oh
Oh,
crap!
you
Damn
spent
it!
it all on YouTube Red? Oh, fuck you then. Go make
Oh
these
fuck you then.
memberships work.
I know, right? Hopefully they figure that out, Kendall. Otherwise, I can try to get in touch with a rep, but you know how that should go.
Yeah.
Colt says for $5 holla, do you think
I'm
the
just like sending you
Fantastic
to
Four?
spam now.
Right. Do you think Fantastic Four got pruned? Ooh, in our variants, and that's why we haven't met them yet. If Kang is the villain and he's been pruning the Fantastic Four, wouldn't that be bananas? If he's keeping Reed and his family out of the timeline or something, that's pretty crazy.
That's a pretty, because he's got beef. That would be one of those ridiculous explanations that actually makes sense.
Yeah, it would be ridiculous, and it also would make sense. I don't know.
But
I
it
like
would
it.
make perfect sense for him to keep Reed out of the timeline.
It would absolutely make sense. But at some time, doesn't he believe he's related to Reed, though? So maybe, like, he can't
Yeah.
actually eliminate Reed.
So
I don't
just
know.
keeps putting him on Trash Planet.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know.
That's a
That's
great
fun.
idea.
That would
I
be
like
really
that.
fun. I'd like that a
Yeah.
lot. B. Grissom with a very generous $20 holla says, "Welcome back. Keep being legendary, you two. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that.
Thank
We'll keep doing our thing." Matthew K
always.
says, with a $5 holla, "Warner Brothers shouldn't let Batman breathe for at least 10 years after the Dark Knight trilogy ended. Such a tough act to follow, especially so soon after." I think that's fair, but at the same time, those movies are done for like a specific reason. You could have just turned around and given me Batman right away in a different iteration, and I would have been fine with it. I think the thing is they needed to stick with one. Like, if you couldn't have got Nolan back, they maybe could have James Bond, or rather Bale back. They could have maybe James Bonded it, or just committed to Affleck, man. Like, think about it. He doesn't even get a solo movie. We've never had a solo Batman movie, and this dude
Yeah.
technically played Batman longer than anybody else. Do you guys realize that? He had more appearances as Batman than any other actor as Batman.
Really?
Yeah. He's been in 5 movies or something like that, because he's technically in Suicide Squad. He's in Batman v Superman. He's in Justice League. He's in Wonder Woman, technically, right? Even though it's just the photo.
Damn.
Or no, he's in Wonder Woman with the photo thing where he sends her the
Yeah.
photo thing at the end. Yeah, so he played Batman for a substantial amount of time. Never got a solo Batman film. Never got a solo Batman film. Bizarre.
No, I kind of agree in the realm of just letting it breathe though. Like, I think there is something to be said about that as well, because I think that if they did focus on other DC movies and then just like had Batfleck show up and just be like, "I'm Batman now," I don't think it would have been that hard on the stomach. We all know who the fuck Batman is. We all know his parents died.
It's
Like,
true. Yeah. Well, that's the
I
thing
don't-
with Spider-Man, right? So it's in the Marvel, it's in the license that Sony has to do the origin story every time they make a new franchise. But
Shut up.
yeah, it's in the thing, but they don't have to do it with Tom Holland because Marvel technically did it, right? So Marvel let them get out of that part of the contract, so they didn't have to reestablish Peter, and they just have him already established in the Civil War kind of thing, right? So it's interesting that they got out of it that way. But yeah, it could be a license thing, man, like where it's like, oh no, you've got to show the origin. It's right here in your contract. You know what I
That is
mean?
that is a hilarious part of the contract.
Yeah.
Like, what a dick move.
I know,
Like,
right?
What a dick
But I mean,
move.
think about it.
But
Stan Lee
genius.
would totally do that, right?
But genius,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh yeah, you can have Spider-Man. You just have to tell the same story
Over and over
and
and
over
over
and over
Yeah.
again.
for sure.
Genius. What a dick.
Mr. Anderson with a very generous $75 holla says, "Doing it for the nerd coin. Totally not a
Hey.
simpin' chat." Also, do you think Doom could
What?
be, I know, right, an option in Loki? I think
Super.
he was making that. I think they were like fighting about it. There was somebody else fighting in chat, so it was like a tongue-in-cheek thing.
How
He's
dare
asking
you,
about
Simper.
if Doom. I know, right, Simper, you will be scorned.
Protect my simper.
Protect the Simper at
Come
all
for my
costs.
simper and I'll
Do you think Doom could be an option in Loki? I mean, I personally would love if they did that because at one point Kang even thinks he is Doom. Like that
A
they're the
doctor?
exact same.
A doctor himself?
Yeah, he thinks he's the Doctor Doom himself. He's like, dude, what if we are the same person? But how could we be in the same spot at the same time if we're the same person? So they are either related or possibly the same person. So hell yeah, Doom would be sick. What do you think, Darren? Little Doom?
I would like them to just start dropping Doom nuggets.
Yes, drop some Doom
You know,
nuggets.
give him a slow burn. Let him like just like kind of plant the seeds that he's out. What is his country?
Latveria.
Yeah.
Yes.
Latveria?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's just out there doing his thing, being crazy, building his stuff, sowing his machinations. I think it would be a lot of fun just to start dropping Doom nuggets.
Dude, we need some Doom nuggets. That's a thing. That's now a thing, and I need me some Doom nuggets. You're right.
Doom nuggets.
Doom nuggets. Just like just being dropped all over the place.
Doom nuggets.
MTS 1993 says Galactus origin story movie. Show him surviving the universe's ending and the Big Bang of the current universe, and with him recruiting the Silver Surfer. That would be so bizarre for them to do a whole movie just about Galactus.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, Galactus?
Only if they do it in a way where he's like, everybody thinks I'm a big bad villain, but the truth is much more complicated.
I'm just hungry.
Dude, do it like that. Exactly.
So
like,
hungry.
I'm just so hungry. And like in like a sort of like sitcom kind of like funny, sort of hilarious kind of thing.
And
like
even that, I feel like the campiness would get old after a while.
This planet made my tum-tum hurt, Amazing. I'm so there.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm like, you know what? If it happens, then egg on our face.
Yeah. Hey,
that'd be wild.
Lots of make it work somehow too, right? It'd be amazing.
Cooking with Galactus.
It's my favorite recipe for a desert planet. Brandon Moore with a $5 hello says, Council of Loki confirmed. I can place Loki went to sort of Land of Lost variants, possibly home of the USS Eldridge as well. That's kind of interesting. There was the Eldridge scene in that trailer. We didn't see that in the last episode, so it could be a way out for them or some way that they get out of there. I don't know. It's super interesting. Land of the Lost for variants, something like that would be sort of fun. We sort of speculated around that.
Yeah, but I do feel like I don't really know what to think yet, because I feel like if they're getting zapped to this place, either someone's like tampering with the zappy sticks, or like, because if they knew that that's where they're going, I don't feel like they would send them all to the same.
Right, exactly.
I don't know. It just
it
seems
really
too convenient.
Weird. Yeah, it's super convenient. Like, we're
just
gonna
let them like run around,
variants, and they're all gonna end up at the same place, and at the same time,
and then just be free.
Yeah,
and just do whatever they want. Like what?
Something else has got to be going on for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Maybe I think someone messed with those zappy sticks.
Here's a very important question for you from Lord Vita. He says, okay, serious talk. Who's hotter, MILF, Wanda, or sexy Sylvie? I'm still on Wanda, like white on rice. What do you think?
MILF Wanda, like, does that mean her specifically with children?
Yes, it's like after she has the children. I don't know. I guess he's just saying Wanda in
when
the
she's
show.
got a full body. Oh god, gross. Cancel me.
Canceled.
I'll cancel myself. That was gross. Sylvie or Wanda? I mean,
it's Wanda all day for me.
Olsen. Well, I mean, those eyes.
Yeah, come on.
Those eyes. Those big blue. She's got those like really like big white people doll eyes,
She does.
They're like this big with the eyelids that go like 7 inches back into her head.
Yeah,
and
she's definitely she's a looker. She's a looker. And I loved her in her sort of suburban outfits. And yes, Vito, I too am a fan of the MILF Wanda. I think that
something was triggered. You're like, oh,
yeah. It's like, oh snap! There's something about this
You're
Wanda.
like my my classic male
And then I got a
genes are
different.
getting
I
activated.
know. And then I was hit with a different kind of boner. Chef Marati with a $5 holla says everything in the MCU will be revealed as nothing more than the Disco Beyonder playing with toys in a sandbox. Kevin Feige will play the role. That would be fantastic, dude. I would love
I
it, but
I honestly would like as an end credit scene, it would just make me laugh. I don't
yeah,
think it
dude,
needs to be like
the
I
whole
mean, even
thing.
that end credit scene with Stan Lee as the Watcher, it was just dumb and it was
It's
amazing.
just fun. Yeah,
It was
just
just
kind of
fun.
fun
It
or
was
whatever.
great.
Yeah.
I'd be down.
So here's something interesting. Jason asks, "Is Kang stronger than Thanos?" What do you think about that question? Because there's different versions of both characters, right? So like
Right.
it's comics, right? So there was a version of Thanos that literally is at the end of all of time and has the Hulk on a leash as a pet, and like that shit's bananas. And that version of Thanos is probably the strongest. Like that's just the strongest. But Kang also has all kinds of different versions. There's Prime Kang, there's Iron
Yeah.
Lad, there's Immortus. Immortus is very powerful, very very powerful being. So I don't know. I would say Kang poses just as much as a threat as Thanos did to Earth and to Earth's ways.
Well, Immortus was the one that was from the future. That's when he thought he was Reed Richardson, right?
Yeah, Immortus is sort of endgame one. He's like
Yeah.
Maestro is to the Hulk, where he's like the sort of oldest, most powerful version of
But like
Kang.
Thanos is a celestial. Right?
Yeah, no, I mean Thanos himself is stronger, I would say, but Kang with his army and stuff like that, like I'd love to see those two actually go up against each other. You know what I mean?
I feel like Thanos is both invulnerable and immortal. I think from what it looks like. I think he's supposed to just be immortal, but like the way the MCU shows him, he looks like he's also invulnerable. But also going from the Thanos in like the actual original Infinity Gauntlet comics, like the whole entire Infinity Gauntlet comics is just him outsmarting all these powerful beings for like just years and or eons and eons as he's collecting all these Infinity Stones. It's not him like murdering people. It's him like
beating
to,
up like no, and that's true. I mean, he does
he's just
crazy
he's playing
stuff. Thanos is
he's playing
powerful.
mind games with like gods and like old powerful celestial space beings. So I'm gonna say Thanos.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Thanos too.
Team
I'm gonna go with Thanos for sure. Zachary Jones says, "Hey, I'm new to your channel. I noticed the TVA city has an orange tint to it, just like the small city we saw in the quantum realm in Ant-Man." Yeah, that's a very popular theory out there, Zachary, and thank you for the support and good to see you in the chat. But yeah, I think that's pretty much gonna be real. I don't know. At this point, I'm pretty certain that the quantum realm will play a role, and possibly even that city we saw in that movie.
I mean, that would make the most sense. And if it is Kang, I mean, the whole thing about Kang is that he's like from a billion years in the future, not a billion, but a long time in the future, and that he's coming back with the technology that's figured it out. And if they figure out quantum realm physics in 2020, I would assume 1,000 years from now they'd figure out how to put a city in there, and that would be like genius.
For sure. Yeah, that would be the whole thing. And if Kang wanted to manipulate time, he could perhaps find a place outside of time, and the quantum realm would likely be a way to sort of do that, you know.
For sure.
Mars P says, "Any thoughts on Blade with the vampire reference?" Yeah, I thought that was fun. The TVA referencing bringing vampires in. He says, like, we've dealt with this and vampires. He's like, and so yeah, it's a reference to Blade.
See, this is the tough thing that is with the Wednesday slot is I feel like I am missing these little things that if I could just like sit in and soak. And honestly, it's great for everyone else. It's just like the fact that we like do this stream at night and then I have to like work.
Oh, I know. My brain is mashed potatoes right now. Like it's, but yeah, it is a fun reference to vampires. I hope the first of many, and I love the vampire side of the MCU, and it's used in really fun ways. So I'm into it. I'm into it.
Blade's and those are the references I like. You know, the throwaway lines that are just acknowledging, like.
And you're just like, oh yeah, like in
Maybe I can see some shit.
Civil War or no, in Winter Soldier, where they reference the man from Cairo, right? And you're like, oh shit, that's Moon Knight. We don't hear
Yeah.
anything about him for years and years and years, but it's just fun little things like that.
Like,
That's part of
I
that
was like,
Marvel
think about
flavor.
it.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Silver
Maybe that.
Surfer Black has a new Galactus origins. Oh, yeah. So I've heard about this where
Ooh.
it is slightly different than it was before, but essentially it's the same concept that he keeps just watching universes
Smu-
die, right? I'll have to
just
double check that.
munching.
He's just
Just
munching.
munching on
Look,
those
yeah,
planets.
man, he's just like smoking those space joints and then going around and listening to Bowie and just munching on planets and
Munching on those planets.
yeah, man.
On
Travis
those
Adams
planet
says,
nuggets.
"What if and the Doom Nuggets? What if Loki and Sylvie had a baby and that's Kang? No, they had a baby and it's the crocodile Loki. That's what happened. That is how you
Dude,
get to crocodile Loki.
I think that is why the also this is just like also weird. This is like going into the, Rick and Morty Michael Waldron loophole.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Would
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
baby have birth defects if you
I thought about that.
birth?
Yeah, because wouldn't it be the exact same genetic material? Like the
Yeah.
exact same.
And like the whole point, like the reason why when you have babies with someone you're related to is because it's ultimately not good for the betterment of your species
Yes, because
by
you
not
both
mixing up the
share
gene
the
pool.
backup genes. The issue is
Yeah.
a lot of human genes have backup genes in case something goes wrong, regressive and
Yes.
so the
So
problem is
diversifying is the name of the game.
yes, you want to have that diversity and when you have of the same like nuclear family, a lot of those backup
Yeah.
genes are exactly the same so they won't work. So you have a higher chance of defects.
Would they be the same genes
I
from
don't know.
different
I don't
timelines?
know. I still can't believe we haven't seen Frost Giant
Neil
form
deGrasse
for
Tyson, can you
any
come
of
in?
them. Yeah, right. All right, so let's see
Oh
here.
yeah, and also they're frost. Does it
Right,
matter for
dude, where's
frost
the
giant?
Frost Giant
Who
thing? Like,
knows?
can I
Who
see a
knows?
Frost
Maybe
Giant,
Frost
please? We've seen 18 different Lokis at this point. None of them are Frost Giants. Like, what's going on with
But
that?
like maybe frost giants can keep it in the family.
I guess maybe
I
that's
bet you if they had a baby, it would just be Joffrey Breath. So probably
maybe it is
whatever.
Joffrey, and they'll just show that. That would be nuts. Lady
Also, there's
Freedom
got to be
Rocks.
some physicist who's thought about this, and I would love to hear him.
Yeah,
Get
cloning
get him on the show.
clones. We got to get him on the show. I'll give him a call.
Get him on the
Watch
show.
out, TVA. An army of Lokis are coming, says Lady Freedom Rocks. Indeed, Lady
Yeah.
Freedom Rocks. Army of Lokis, and I can't wait. That's probably going to be a super dysfunctional army, though. I'm just going to say this. We're going to have a lot of fun.
No one's listening to each
Dude,
other.
no,
Everyone's
it's-
shooting in different directions.
Yeah,
People are not waiting for the signal. People are just running at all times.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
the worst army ever. Just
Yeah,
just
it's
a bunch of
terrible
individualists.
army.
But
Sozu
it would be
Sozin
great.
says, just tuned in. What if around the corner and Loki slapping us the way Falcon the Winter Soldier and WandaVision should have? Mobius must have woken up on a Mobius battle world. Whoa. Yeah, I think what is around the corner is Loki being solidified as certainly the best of the MCU shows. I mean, we can hope, right? At this point, it would really have to go a bad way in these last two episodes for me to feel as though it's, going that same direction as Falcon, Winter Soldier, and WandaVision. What do you think?
Oh, okay. Now I was confused by the question as first, but he's saying that the possibility of the finale being a letdown.
I actually don't think that's what he's saying. He says, what if around the corner... Oh, like what if around the corner and Loki slapping us the way it should have, he's like pumped, I think is what he's saying. Like, yeah. Yeah, he's like, let's go, like it's Marvel time.
That did not commute.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I totally agree. Like Loki has been making all my dreams come true. I'm so happy. And you know what? This is like, and it's all part of the process because now I'm super pumped for Black Widow. I'm like so excited to see that in theaters next week. And I'm like excited about Loki and I'm excited about Shang-Chi and I'm excited about What If. And I just like,
Yup.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped again.
I know. It's dope. It's dope to be pumped again. Marvel doing the thing, man. Doing the thing.
It makes me literally want to go to LA to go to Marvel Land just because I'm like I'm just in.
Oh, I want
I'm
to
in
go to
synth
Avengers
mode right
Campus.
now.
No, I'm same way for me. It's like I definitely want to go to Avengers Campus, and we've been seeing like a lot of videos of people that go, and it just seems really, really cool. Trying to make the time. John Sparks
You
with a
can go for
$5
free.
holla.
You go with me.
Say what? You go for free? Oh shit. Okay, we'll figure it out. John Sparks with a $5 hollis says, been a subscriber for the past 2 years. Becoming a Nerd Venture Prime member was long overdue. Stoked. Thank you for the joy and the awesome content.
Yay!
Thank you, John. Appreciate the
Well,
love,
thank
my
you for
friend.
joining.
Yeah,
It
holy
makes me
cow.
happy that you like our faces and voices enough to want to join and listen to us at all
Indeed.
times.
Indeed. No, that's awesome, man. And we will do a Nerd Venture Prime stream. We've been doing them Fridays at 2 p.m. So make sure you check that out, John. And it's just good that we'll even be able to do. We did these streams last week, but like I didn't have access to this channel, or I couldn't even post on the freaking community tab on this channel. I was like, this is so bananas. So I think people even missed some of the streams last week that we tried to do. But yeah, man, we really appreciate the support. And I'll be sharing some behind the scenes stuff, some fun stuff on Friday. We try to make those streams fun. Let's see here. Got a couple more super chats, and we'll get on out of here. Darren Matthew K says, did the Loki / Sylvie romance create the branch, or was it that they were both about to die? The romance shouldn't create a branch since they were going to die. It's confusing and not conclusive, but I would say I think it is the fact that they create that feeling. Like it's sort of hinted at, even in one of the articles that I read, Michael Waldron kind of says it. He's like, yeah, this weird romance almost breaking everything. And what do they say? They even say it in the show, like it could burn everything down. Remember? Owen Wilson says that to him. He's like, I think you two together could burn this whole place down. And that's why he allows him to escape, right? He wants to take that Loki to the other one. Pretty
well, because I don't think them dying could necessarily change just the blip, right?
Yeah, because everybody
what they saw was like
there. Anyway.
Yeah, so it's like what they saw was just like a blip of like a potential change, but that ultimately would have gotten snuffed out, I guess, if they ended up dying. But they wanted to locate them, so they followed the blip.
Yeah. I look, it's a cool, mysterious little thing that we're all going to be following now. Like that's what's so cool about this episode. It closed up a lot, but also just opens up so many questions. Like we're so dang confused. Like what's the deal with Crocodile Loki? You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of fun to be had in these next 2 hours. I would say.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Kyle says, off topic, what's your favorite Pokemon and Pokemon game? Darren, favorite Pokemon and Pokemon game. What do you think?
Okay, so I used to be obsessed with Pokemon when I was like a kid, obviously. Like everybody else had that binder with the shiny cards. And when I was like 7 years old, obviously my favorite Pokemon was Eevee because I was a girl. It's like the one that's cute. And that's the one that I liked.
Yeah.
And then I was like hardcore addicted to like Pokemon Go for like a couple of years. Like it was bad. Like I was playing it all the time. And the only reason why I stopped playing it is because it made me log back in one day, like the app just reset, and I don't have my passwords memorized because all my passwords are just like random integers that I have written down in a notebook and I don't have saved anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I just stopped playing it, and
Damn, yo.
And that's how I got out.
All your Pokemon died without.
Nope, it's not a Tamagotchi. They're just like
they made it into a Tamagotchi while you were away.
But I honestly can't remember a lot of the names of the new ones that I used to play with, but it's crazy because I was playing it for like years. And there was a gym. I could access a Pokemon Go gym from my living room at my apartment.
What?
So I was just like,
that's sick.
Yeah. Oh, it was like bad.
That's
fun.
Bad. I would say
I'm out.
My favorite game was probably Yellow, although I really like Sword and Shield. I played the shit out of Sword and Shield, like, what was that, 2 years ago now? So those were really fun. And, oh man, there was a new Dragon Shadow type. Oh, I can see him, but I can't remember his name. That Pokemon was dope. And then, classically, I always liked Gengar. Gengar was my favorite. The ghost Pokemon, the ghost psychic Pokemon.
Yes!
Yeah, he was fun.
Also, fucking Mr. Mime, the creepiest Pokemon of all time.
Dude, in Detective Pikachu, he's so good in that movie. I love the version, the rendition that they did there.
But yeah, been playing video games.
Little Pokemon for you. Yo, I've been telling everybody, got to get on Knockout City. It's a really fun game, Darren. It's really fun. It's like a dodgeball game, like Fortnite meets dodgeball. It's really fun.
Yeah, you're talking about it. I played
fun.
Skyrim for 3 days straight this weekend. So
there you go. That's super fun. No, I remember those kind of weekends. I played many of those with Skyrim specifically. Casey Watson says, "Do you think the mind-controlled breaking Sylvie is doing is too similar to what Vision was doing in WandaVision?" No, not really. I don't
Mm,
really see it as too similar at all, but I do see it now. Now that you brought it up, it is pretty similar. But no, I don't personally have a problem with it at all. What do you think? Is it an issue for you that those things are very similar?
no,
No,
people
no,
gonna have the
I
same
don't think so.
powers. I don't
Yeah,
care.
for sure.
That's fine.
Brad Moore says, "Booting up Pokemon Go for the first time in 2 years. Thank you guys. There you go, man."
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for anyone who's plays Pokemon Go. Like I used to play with my friend's boyfriend, and he would like we'd like literally text Tawny. I'd be like, "Can you tell Alvaro to answer my Pokemon Go gym request?" And he'd be like, "Can you please tell
Nice.
Darren that I'm sending her something on Pokemon?"
Nice. You're that sweaty about it. That's pretty fun. That's cool. John Sparks,
I
you
feel for
are
you,
a
bro.
Nerd Venger now,
Help
my
me.
friend. Welcome to the Nerd Vengers. Oh, yeah.
Yay!
Knight me, Josh, and take my money. No, amen, dude. Honestly, super glad to have you. My brain is mashed potatoes, ladies and gentlemen. Not
I
enough sleep.
know.
So I'm probably.
Props to you for making it through this stream. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I had
I
fun as
appreciate it.
always, for sure. I had fun as always. I wish I could have gotten some sleep in the afternoon. And like I said, we'll do more
Yeah.
streaming tomorrow, guys. The morning stream's gonna be lit tomorrow, and we'll be doing a bunch of drops and everything. So we appreciate you guys being here as always. Darren, anything you want to plug? You plugs the Patreon, plugs the Insta, plugs
Patreons,
your Pokemon Go
Instas, you can
account so
find
they
me on
can.
there. Darren Wood. I actually, it's so creepy. I would like, because you need, like, once Pokemon Go did the updates, you would need friends to like
Yeah.
progress in levels.
Yeah.
So I would go on these Twitter threads where like strangers who didn't know anyone else who played Pokemon Go would become friends. And then there's this group of boys that I will always meet at this park outside. I would like wait for them, but I wouldn't go meet them. I just play for them from afar from my living room.
Oh,
So
you
yeah,
should. That's like kind of sad. You should have like met him or whatever. No, that's fun.
I'm
That's super
just
cool.
a weirdo. Weird meeting strangers
Yeah,
in public, but
Cool.
yeah. So yeah, cool. Check me out at Pokemon Go. I actually don't know what my screen name is. I think it's my gamer tag, which is Darren Darko.
There you go. Boom, shakalaka.
Yeah.
Well, it's always a pleasure as per usual around these parts. So thank you, Darren. Thank you, chat, and
Yeah.
be seeing you guys real soon. Okay. As I always say, hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day.
Awesome.
We'll see you
See
in the
you.
next